you mentioned it before, but tourism and racing, bicycle racing, is something that you're trying to import to Rwanda as well. Last year in September, Tom helped put on Rwanda's first mountain bike race ever. Why don't you tell us a bit about that?
I have to say it's the first mountain bike race ever.
Okay.
Okay, they really they've had races, and they've had races with what we'd call the racing bike, that and very kind of simple programs of racing, but they don't really even know the mountain bike's been invented. I mean, when I got there, they really didn't know the difference between what I was riding and what they were riding. And what we did at the event, at the race, is we tried to create a fun event where we would introduce mountain bike racing, but we would also embrace their existing bikes, their single speed bikes, and we'd also do something with their wooden bikes, which was the kind of the fun storytelling part of that race was racing the wooden bike. And it just became a one-day, very successful event with thousands of people, and it seeded something, and it took us and introduced us to people that could potentially turn their become athletes. And then as a result of that race, we stayed in contact with those athletes and made a preparation to come back and work with them, and that's what Jacques did. He came back in February actually, and a month in advance of me coming, and he worked with some of the athletes that we'd met at that race and created a Rwandan team and trained them, and brought over his computer, his testing machines, and some of the things that he has in his tool bag, and found that they're pretty darn good athletes, and even though they'd never ridden a mountain bike, so to speak, they were capable at riding road bikes pretty well, and we got granted a very generous grant from Cape Epic, and the organizers let two Rwandan teams come along with Ritchey and myself, and got off the plane, and only half a day before the race, these guys were riding their bikes fresh, because we didn't have time to really get it together and pull the things together. And off they went, and they started an 8-day, Cape Epic race with zero history of racing mountain bikes, and they finished, and they had a great time, and they represented their country really well, and it turned out to be inspiring thing that captured a lot of people's attention.
Yeah, I got the chance to speak with one of the athletes, Rafiki, a 20-year-old from Rwanda, and he was so taken by mountain bike racing that he said he already had plans to try and become a professional mountain bike racer, and he hoped his 11 brothers and sisters would look up to him, and he could spread mountain biking to help spread it to his country. So this race, the Wooden Bike Classic, which is put on by Tom Ritchey, is going to be going on hopefully every year. You want to turn this into an annual event.
And tour. Yeah. So the second year we're gonna precede the Wooden Bike Classic with about a 6-day tour of Rwanda, small tour, and Rwanda's a small country, so within 6 days you can pretty much take in the entire country, and so to speak, the national parks and the safari areas, the volcanoes, the gorillas, the tea and coffee plantations, the capital, the museum. It's a country the size of Rhode Island, and it's hilly. There's a strenuous component to riding in Rwanda, but it's also very confined, and there's a lot of touring opportunities in Rwanda, and that's what we hope to tell. We hope to tell a story about how how beautiful a country is, how beautiful the people are, how welcoming they are, how safe you feel when you're there, and then cap it off with the race again. The best way to get involved with Project Rwanda is to go on the website and look at projectrwanda.org, and there's focuses of the effort that's being done, and one has to do with the coffee bike and the design of this special load bearing hauling bike. The other one has to do with the national team that was just launched, and that's something that is a fun thing for a lot of people to imagine. It's all, you can adopt a rider, you can adopt certain costs and things that, they need bikes, of course, and travel expenses and clothing and a lot of things. So there's the individual connection that can be had there. There's going to Rwanda. It's you can make plans to actually using some of the resources that we have in place and some of the tools that we're sharing. You can make plans to go to Rwanda and break down the barriers of your own cynicisms and concerns about it being a safe country. I took my whole family there, so I felt safe enough. It was safe enough to do that, and friends there. So there's your own tours that can be done, and then in the future, we're really working on an infrastructure in Rwanda with the government, and bringing in manufacturing of bikes, and trying to put the building blocks of that together, and that's in the future. But Project Rwanda is a 501c3 corporation now, and we're in the beginning stages of that, and we've raised about $200,000 so far, and everyone that's involved with it is volunteer, and so we're able to really do things with a very pure focus and very efficient way, and people can know that from the executive director down to the board members, we're not receiving any compensation. Matter of fact, we're paying for our own hotel and accommodations and travel, and we're not burdening the project with any of those expenses at this point in time.